施錠をしたとはいえ、こんな古い木の扉なんて簡単に破られるだろうな。
Allegedly.
A WTF! A WTF!
Right, that intro there, that's as far as I'm going with the Corey Graves situation. I've read, as I'm sure you have, what his wife's had to say on Instagram, and to be honest, if it's true, there's nothing funny here at all. So let's just move on. That's because, of course, last night there was some wrestling taking place at Elimination Chamber, and for 3/4 of the night, it was a massive pile of meh. But then the main event came along, and Jesus Christ, it was like the Amazon rainforest. It opened up. It was wrestling in its purest form. We had a bad guy against a good guy. We had the crowd booing the bad guy. We had the crowd willing the good guy on to go and get the big victory. It was professional wrestling at its purest form, and everything we should love about it all in one match. It was fantastic. But while there was some good things happening, there was also some bad things happening, because after 3,163 days on the main roster since her debut, Tamina remains the longest serving member of the WWE roster, never ever to win a championship. The Tamina train, it flew into a chamber pod. Rest in peace. And of course, you're sat there worried about Ross. Have you still got this bad lad on your shoulder? When myself and Pacitti, we drew. And when a draw happens in professional wrestling, the champion keeps his title. So next month at Fastlane, we're both in dog cages. Oh, I know I said I was going to leave it be a few weeks ago, but I saw a very vocal supporter of women's wrestling called Betty Phoenix on the kickoff show last night, and she said that Sasha Banks and Bayley could be the very first women's champions in WWE, and it all came flooding back. Jumping bomb angels, glamour girls, you women have not murdered your families. You didn't commit suicide after murdering your families, so you do not deserve this treatment, and I've got your back. Betty Phoenix, pal, let me tell you that women's professional wrestling did not start when you stopped, because that was the picture you were painting at the start of last night's kickoff show. And next up we have Jonathan Coachman saying, bloody hell, I can only imagine the nervousness going on backstage. Fwah! Coachman, you can say that again. I bet Naomi and Jimmy Uso and Carmella and Corey Graves were sweating like Shane McMahon standing still. This numpty here, eh? Apparently after the gauntlet match on Tuesday, and with the Elimination Chamber match coming up, we can finally see if Kofi Kingston can break out of the New Day and show his colours as an individual wrestling star. Let's forget about that initial run from 2008 until 2014, shall we, Coach? You know, the one where Kofi Kingston should have gotten that car and flattened Randy Orton on the way to winning the WWE title. Words there straight from the heart of Braun Strowman, who definitely wasn't reading an autocue and always had his eyes looked straight down the lens of the camera. Back to Coachman we go, and he claims that after kicking the sweaty head of Shane McMahon and the greasy head of The Miz on last week's SmackDown Live, the Usos are focused on their tag team championship match at last night's show. I tell you what, Coachman, it's a shame that focus went the wrong way down a one-way street in Detroit now, isn't it? It's General Manager-elect Sheamus. Either that, or he's finally got himself serving drinks at the bar. This is really great banter. It really is. Sarah Logan reckons time flies when you're wreaking havoc. What about when you're pushing over little tiny bins and calling it a riot and losing just about every single match you have in WWE? What about then? Charlotte, what are you doing? She claims she'll be sitting ringside with a bird's eye view of what's going on. So you've got the ring, and she'll be at the side of it, yet she's going to have a bird's eye view from above. The only way that Charlotte Flair's going to have a bird's eye view of that wrestling ring is if she's one of those birds on the road who are dead after being flattened by a car. Back to this pisshead we go, who assumes that Charlotte Flair will have a front row ticket, because where else will she sit? So she said on last week's SmackDown Live she's going to be at ringside. She said just a few seconds before Coachman said that, with a weird perspective of what a bird's eye view is, she's going to be at ringside. How many more pissing clues do you need, Jonathan Coachman? So according to Betty Phoenix, Ronda Rousey has taken everything thrown at her in WWE so far with grace and focus. As much grace as a cinder block with ADHD, Beth. Who the hell have you been watching for the past year, man? Who the hell goes out in public wearing a golden condom, eh? Oh, him. Ha ha. And next up we have Sam Roberts. Just before he called Ronda Rousey a thick bastard, claims that Ronda Rousey, thanks to her legitimate fighting background, can only do one-on-one matches, and she can't deal with people who have backup like Ruby Riott. So let's have a look at the past year, shall we, Sam, and who Ronda Rousey has done the graps with. You've got Sasha and Bayley, you've got Nia and Tamina, you've got Mickey and Alexa, then you've got Lady Balls and her ego. She's proper used to it, man. Oh, now the time suits her. She brings up the glamour girls and the jumping bomb angels. Well done, Beth Phoenix. Legitimately, Beth, well done. You're the only person in the entire build-up to Elimination Chamber who mentioned those two women at all. And because of that, you're presumably going to be fired. So well done. Could you pick a grander stage than Elimination Chamber to win the Women's Tag Team Championships? Yes. Survivor Series, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Shane McMahon's bedroom with the Geet Mint racing car bed. There's loads of them, man, Beth. This is the only time you'll ever see me saying this ever, but Kevin Owens can get in the bin. Quite frankly, pineapple 1,000,000% belongs on pizza. Fight me. Question 1, where's the rest of Mark Henry? Question 2, who the hell owns a washing machine big enough to fit a Mark Henry inside? And question 3, when putting a Mark Henry inside their massive washing machine, who the hell puts their Mark Henry wash on too hot so he shrinks and some of them wastes away? He's looking bloody lovely, isn't he? But sticking with Mark, he claims that if he was in the Elimination Chamber match, a lot of new men would be introduced to the Hall of Pain. Or you wouldn't know what to do, as 2015 showed us, Mark. 90 seconds left, Turns out he can't tell the time either. What is the point in Jonathan Coachman? And just to wrap up the pre-show with a nice little bow, there was no tea times in a pre-show that included Booker T. And this is even more miraculous when you realise that Booker T was in his hometown, and when WWE's in a hometown of a superstar, Vince McMahon tries to make a massive tit out of them, and somehow Booker T escaped. Well done, Booker, but for old time's sake, tea time. And we kick things off from the main show with the opening promo package that was so disturbing, it's going to give you nightmares for the rest of your life. So it turns out the Elimination Chamber is a person, a creep, a massive creep who tries to lure you into their basement with fizzy drinks and sweets. And I don't know about you, but I reckon that somebody needs to check that Elimination Chamber's house for an Elimination Chamber basement, because there will be bodies in there.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's a direct quote from Corey Graves based on what we just saw. You never touch the trophy before you win the actual event. Aye, and you shouldn't touch the trophy while you're still in a relationship. Allegedly. And then Corey followed this up by saying, and they just cursed themselves. You can count Naomi and Carmella right out of the chamber. Something's telling me that happenings from last week and the fact they were a tag team just thrown together for the absolute bants did that a long time before Elimination Chamber actually started. Dun 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 dun. How can it be a Vaseline covered porno replay, Kevin Dunn, if we're watching Mandy Rose's entrance live? Quite frankly, Kev, get your hands out your pants and produce the show properly, will you?
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's another direct quote from Corey Graves, who said, it's nice to see loyalty though.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's a direct quote from Corey Graves, who was talking about Sasha Banks turning on Bayley in last year's Elimination Chamber match. That was the only day in the last calendar year that she was honest about who she truly is.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's another direct quote from Corey Graves. It would serve Bayley well not to pay any attention to her partner. Right then, so Bayley is here. The pod is here. So somehow, Nia, aiming for Bayley here, goes through the pod here. And it's clear for all to see that by doing this last night, Nia Jax needs to be renamed, repackaged, new gimmick into Nia Cataracts, because she's blind as a bat.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's another direct quote from Corey Graves. I never want to admit my mistakes because I rarely make them. On to the match involving the best professional wrestler in the world, Shane McMahon, and his friend The Miz we go. And that picture there just encapsulates a little bit of the reasoning why I hate Shane McMahon so much. There's The Miz, a nice man, a team player, Mac and Miz written on his shirt. There we have Shane McMahon, so far up his 49-year-old arsehole he can see his own teeth with only his own name on his own shirt. Prick. Sweaty gimmick infringement. That wasn't a pump kick, Tom Phillips. That was a bro kick, and don't you dare tell anyone any different, you massive liar. Sweaty gimmick infringement, the second. Tyler Bate wants his bop and bang back. Shane, my God, I would love to bop and bang you. Hang on. And now it's time for this.
Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Hello and welcome back to Wankety Wank, and thank you very much to new AJ Sayers for pointing out that some trainer-based inaccuracies took place at the hands of Corey Graves.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's a direct quote from Corey Graves. When the chips are down, you learn who your true friends are. Is that right now, Corey? Is CM Punk not been calling you back since it all kicked off on Saturday again?
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
So Corey claims that Mung Ai of the Mandarin commentary team invited him to an adults-only rodeo the night before Elimination Chamber. That by itself is a WTF moment. But if we all become hacks and twist Corey Graves' words, who would have thought that Mung Ai would have been his code name for Carmella? Dun 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 dun. Those frames, Kevin, why the hell were those frames appearing here, there and everywhere on last night's show, with that there being the worst example during the Bobby Lashley match? Now Kevin, we all know you love to kiss Vince McMahon's arsehole, but there's no need to share his fetish for beef if you don't want to, man. Be your own man. My man! As Bobby Lashley would say, thank you to that Rogue Warrior there for their Cultaholic sign at last night's show. Hashtag SWP for life. Next time you go to a show, come up with an inventive hashtag like that one. So we've seen Bobby Lashley alone in WWE, and we've seen Bobby Lashley not work in WWE. We've also seen Bobby Lashley with a hype man in WWE, and we've seen Bobby Lashley work in WWE. Why then would WWE go back to Bobby Lashley being on his own? Nice knowing you, cracklers, Bob. Oh my God, it's a suspended Becky Lynch. She shouldn't be here. Arrest that woman now. It's good to see that security guard there was just giving this entire situation a massive big fat nope. Where the hell's the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast Hall of Famer, the WrestleMania show stealer, the American football fondler, the food deflector? Where's that blonde woman when you need her?
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's a direct quote from Corey Graves. Send a frickin' mean tweet or something. This is not how you deal with things. Really, Corey? After last weekend and that Twitter meltdown, your advice to fellow human beings is to send mean tweets? You don't help yourself, do you, pal?
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee. What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
Graves, you might as well Amazon Prime your boy a tombstone, she said. Well, it turns out you can't prime a tombstone, and what the hell's wrong with you, Amazon? You sick bastards. That's a WTF moment. But Renee, why are you expecting to see a murder on WWE pay-per-view? Did you not see WrestleMania 15 where the big boss man was murdered right in the neck and then he came back to life? It just doesn't happen in wrestling.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's a direct quote from Corey Graves. You know when you think about a happy time in your life when times aren't great?
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
So Corey Graves claims it's not big baldy bastard Baron Corbin and big Drew McIntyre's fault that Braun Strowman has no friends in WWE. But if happenings on Raw in recent times has told us anything, it's that big Braun Strowman has two friends on Raw, one of them being Kurt Angle and the other your boy Finn Bálor. So I guess we can presume by the fact that he wasn't booked on last night's show that Kurt Angle was not in the arena, but for your boy Finn Bálor to sit on his fat ass backstage and do nothing about it, that's scandalous, and he should be forced to eat one carb and watch his belly jiggle for a week. Lacey Evans did the old Abe Simpson routine, and I'm not sure what the point of it was. Were we supposed to be sat there going, ooh, Lacey Evans is here, she's going to talk, what a treat, before being like, oh no, she's turning round, she's not going to talk, oh. After her performance at the Royal Rumble, I reckon Lacey Evans threatening to speak and then turning round and not speaking is the single most effective babyface turn since Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
He did it again, ladies and gentlemen. This time he's talking about Kofi Kingston defying the odds on last week's SmackDown Live, and Corey Graves says, it's not often I like to admit fault. Now, by this stage of the night, it's clear that one of two things are happening here. Either one, Corey knows these allegations aren't true and he's playing us marks along, or second of all, he's just a massive bleeding bellend. What do you reckon? Stat attack! This is the first WWE pay-per-view since last year's Fastlane that the WWE Championship match has gone on last. Next up we have Daniel Bryan coming out saying that clever people like him and Eric Rowan are punished because they're clever. Aye. And then he says that WWE have made the fans the authority. Now, of course, a heel lying isn't really a WTF moment, but this bloody annoyed me because WWE thought they were telling the truth until they just did things that proved they weren't telling the truth. New era, new things, you're the authority, your voices will be heard, they said, before Triple H appeared on a few shows in recent times. Me voice is gone, and he claimed that, you know, your opinion don't matter. Shut it! And stuff like that. WWE are turning heel on themselves without even realising it. Fickle.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
And next up we have Corey Graves questioning the referee's decision to send Rowan to the back because the chamber is designed to keep people out. Hello? Yes, 2 seconds, I'll get him. Corey, it's Shawn Michaels from the Chamber match in 2010. He wants to say hello. Or hello, because his voice is deep. Have we ever seen Walter and Samoa Joe in the same place at the same time? Because last night in the Chamber match, Samoa Joe was chopping the vegetables out of Daniel Bryan, and it just felt like Walter was there. I've lost the plot. And then we had the brilliance of Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan, and the night ended in a lovely manner. That's it. For all the WTF moments from Elimination Chamber 2019, I've been Ross Riddell from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Ross on Wrestling, pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. But most importantly of all, subscribe to this illustrious YouTube channel and follow us everywhere on the social medias.